Hi everyone, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about one of the forgotten important pieces of the revenue cycle. You're probably going, what has she got up her sleeve today? What are we going to talk about today? And honestly, it's very straightforward. It's very simple. And it's probably not going to be a long video because of that. But one of the most important aspects of the revenue cycle that so many people forget, it affects their aging, it affects their key performance indicators, is issuing refunds. You're probably going, what? I don't understand. Well, let me explain it to you. Issuing refunds to patients and insurances. It is going to be a reality, a fact. If you're already practicing, you know what I'm talking about. If you're just starting, let me inform you that no matter how good you have processes into place, how clean everything is, how structured, you're always going to end up with some kind of overpayments, whether again it's from a patient or it's from an insurance. The patient side is usually when you're collecting copays. This is where I see it the most, where you believe they have a copay, you collect the copay as you should, and the insurance processes a claim and they don't make patient responsible for a copay. And in fact, they don't make the patient responsible for anything, and you have this credit sitting on their account. And you're like, what did I do wrong? And sometimes it might take them being seen a few times to realize it. And then you have kind of this money accumulation, $20 a time. You've seen them 3 times before you notice, and bam, you owe them $60. Well, there's multiple things that can play into this. One, the type of visit that they have and how their insurance benefits cover it, right? Whether it's applied to deductible, if it's applied to a copay, and if it's, whatever kind of benefit it has. So that's one. 2, you collect the incorrect amount of copay. So you think you're considered a specialist, you collect the specialist amount of $50, but they see you as like a general practice doctor, PCP kind of thing, and it's only a $30 copay. So you've over collected by $20. So although the insurance made them responsible for a copay of $30, you collected $50, hence the $20 credit. Then there's situations where maybe they've hit their out-of-pocket maximum for the year where they don't have to pay anything anymore until their insurance year starts over, and you're not aware of that and you're just collecting money. There's also situations where you over-collect on balances because somebody read something wrong. I mean, there's various situations, but it's something you need to be aware of. Not only because there are laws around this, and every state kind of has their own regulations of how long you're allowed to hold money for a consumer or a patient or a client without returning it or before you have to return it. So definitely check your local legislation, check federal, because there are laws surrounding that. But also because when you have credits on the accounts, it's looking like you have money that's not really yours. Okay, it's not giving an accurate reflection of your net collections. It's not providing you with kind of a more satisfying and complete look at your finances as a business. And that is an issue. So on top of patients should have their money, on top of the laws and regulations that go into holding patient credits for a certain amount of time, you also have your key performance indicators, your financial health, your financial outlooks, forecasting, and reporting that it could be very inaccurate depending on how much is owed to patients, okay? So that's why that's really important. And there are ways to track it. A lot of systems are good at that so that you could have some kind of routine where you can sit down once a month with your bookkeeper or whoever writes the checks. You can issue those checks to those patients, and then you can make sure that those credits get off the books, you give the patients back their money, and everything is good. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't understand this. They don't realize that's part of something until it gets to be a really big amount that needs to be refunded, or they just ignore it altogether. And that is not okay. That is not healthy. That's not good business practice. You're violating laws and regulations, possibly. And so it's just not good. You have to have a process. You need to be on a regular schedule of issuing those refunds. Now, a lot of people will ask me, Jen, what if this patient's coming in all of the time? Can't I just apply that credit to their next visit or their next balance? Well, yes and no. It depends, right? If it's a scenario where they don't have to pay anything out of pocket for quite a while, then get it off your books. Just start fresh, right? But if it's something where you collected too much of a copay, but they're still having a co-insurance or something like that, and you know most likely they're going to have a balance again the next time they're seen, and they're already scheduled for a month or two out, ask the patient. Say, hey, we have a $20 credit because we over collected on your copay. Would you like us to hold that for your next visit and then apply it to your next balance, or would you like us to refund them? I think that courtesy goes a long way for many reasons. Patient satisfaction, making sure that you're following all the guidelines, making sure you're showing the patient that you're aware of it, that you're not just trying to hold their money, and letting them decide, because maybe that $20 could help them buy some more groceries, or maybe that $20 will do something else that they need at the moment, and it will be like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect this $20. This is amazing, right? So definitely be asking your patients. Also, if you're going to be doing that, document it. I can't stress this enough. Every time you have an interaction with a patient, whether it's a financial conversation, it's a clinical conversation, a scheduling conversation, your staff should be very, very good at taking notes. They should all be in the same place so you can go back and reference it, whoever it might be in the future, to see what went on with that account. Whether it's the finances, it's the clinical side, whatever, what may have you, it needs to be documented. Okay, so that is patient credits and patient refunds. Now let's talk about insurance credits and insurance refunds. There are many insurances out there that will say, don't worry about sending us a check. We will do a recoupment from a future payment of claims, and we'll just keep that money back and send you the difference. Great, perfect. That's the way I love it. They put notations on the ERAs. They tell them that they tell you that they withheld so much money for whatever claims in the past that were overpaid, and it's done. There are other insurances where they will send you a letter and they will say, we made a mistake, we overprocessed something, we overpaid, and we need you to send us a check within so many days. And if we don't receive that check with that amount, then we will recoup the money. Again, usually I go, fine, I'm not going to deal with it. I'd rather them do the recoupment. It's just easier. And I ignore that 30, 45-day, whatever deadline, and they end up doing the recoupment then. Fine. The ones that you have to watch out for are the ones where they say you need to send a check. They don't mention a recoupment option. They don't mention any kind of take back. And if you call, which I strongly encourage you to call the first time you're dealing with any new insurance in this situation, to find out if they do a recoupment, and it might not just be mentioned in the letter. If they say they do when you call, but it's not on the letter, document, document, document. Who you spoke to, reference ID to the call, the time you called, all the information. So if they come back and they say, well, you never sent us the money, you could be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I called, I was told by this person on this date at this time with this reference ID number that you guys would do a recoupment after so much time, so I didn't bother. And then you've kind of fight it out that way. But there are many where when you call, they say, that's correct, we will not do a recoupment or a take back. We expect you to write us a check. There's also secondary insurances like supplement insurances for Medicare that will never do a recoupment. So you have to send them the money. Do not ignore this. I have seen practices be sent to a formal collections agency for not paying their money that's owed to the insurance. Yes, the insurance made a mistake. We all do. They overpaid, but that's not your money. You need to pay it back. Again, being turned to collections is not good. That looks terrible from a business side, right? If you ever were to try to sell your practice, if you ever tried to negotiate maybe rates with your insurance, they might say, hey, why are we going to work with you when you ignore what we're asking you to do? Per your contract, you should have followed this and you didn't. we had to send you to collections. It just puts a really bad taste in the insurance company's mouth. It doesn't look good to other professionals that could find out, whether it's somebody you're hiring new, like a CFO or a manager or something like that. Be good with your insurance relations. You don't need any reasons for them to have excuses to not work with you when you need them to. So work with them and they'll work with you, fingers crossed anyway, but at least be the bigger person, right? And send those checks when they're asked. Again, have a regular routine for this. Once a month, sit down to do the patient refunds and do the insurance refunds that are not going to be recouped. Send them off, peace of mind, right? Document, document, document. Scan those letters to wherever you're going to house them, most likely in the individual patient's chart, unless there's multiple in one letter. You decide where you want that for future tracking, research, reference, whatever, but you need to issue the insurances their refunds as well. This goes back to your key performance indicators, your net collections, looking at your overall finances. If you're doing this regularly, you know when you generate that net collections report and you see that bank account amount, you can be confident in going, oh my gosh, this is how much money I have. This is how much money I have after I pay my overheads and my expenses. This is what I'm doing. And you don't have to be fearful that, oh, how much is going to come out now because I need to pay all these patients back or I need to pay all these insurances back. If you pay it like a regular monthly bill, it will be so much better. I promise you. And I guarantee you, if you speak to a healthcare accountant, CPA, a bookkeeper, they're going to agree with me as well, because this is good business sense. This is good practice. And it's just overall going to be better for you as an owner with your monies and everything to have peace of mind. If you have any questions or comments about this, please leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please share this video with anybody whom you feel would benefit. I appreciate your time. We'll speak with you next time. Bye-bye.